Hello, everyone, and welcome to my story. My name is Ava, and today I am here to share a journey of love, trust, betrayal, and the healing process that followed. I want you to know that this story isn't just mine. It's for anyone who has ever loved, been hurt, and tried to move on. I hope you can find something meaningful here, something that helps you understand that you are never truly alone in your struggles. Let me start from the beginning. It was a rainy day when I first met Ethan. I wasn't expecting to meet anyone that day. I was simply running errands in the city, trying to get everything done before the weekend. But fate had other plans. I bumped into him in a little cafe, a place I loved to visit when I needed to think. The moment our eyes met, something inside me just clicked. His smile was warm, his eyes sparkled, and I could see in him a kindness that I hadn't seen in anyone before. We started talking, and at first it was just small talk, nothing special. But then, as we continued chatting, I realized that we had so much in common. We both loved to read, we both enjoyed cooking, and we both had this deep appreciation for the simple things in life. We could talk about anything from the most serious subjects to the most random thoughts. We laughed together, shared stories, and before I knew it, hours had passed. It didn't take long before we started seeing each other more regularly. Our relationship blossomed quickly. Ethan was kind, caring, and thoughtful. Every little thing he did made me fall deeper for him. He would send me sweet messages in the morning, just to wish me a good day. When I was feeling down, he was there to lift me up. I began to trust him more and more, and the love between us grew stronger with each passing day. There was this magic in the air whenever we were together. He made me feel like I was the most important person in the world. He would talk about our future, about getting a house together, about growing old together. And in those moments, I believed him. I truly believed that we would be together forever. Our love felt deep, unshakable, and perfect. We shared so many beautiful moments, late-night walks under the stars, cooking dinner together, watching movies, and simply being in each other's company. Ethan was my best friend, my confidant, and my soulmate. The thought of being with anyone else seemed impossible because I had found the one person I thought I could trust forever. But as with every relationship, there are ups and downs. Small misunderstandings, a few disagreements, but nothing that we couldn't work through. I thought we were stronger than anything life could throw at us. However, there were subtle signs that things were changing. I didn't notice them at first. It was easy to ignore them because I wanted to believe in the love we shared so deeply. But then, it started happening more frequently. Ethan was coming home late, and his excuses didn't make sense. He would cancel plans we had made together, and when I asked him about it, he would brush it off. I thought maybe it was work or something else, but deep down, I had this unsettling feeling that something wasn't right. I told myself that I was overthinking it, but a part of me knew I wasn't. Then came that fateful day. The day everything changed. The day I found out the truth. Everything around me seemed to shatter. I had always prided myself on being a good listener, someone who could pick up on the smallest details, but that day, I couldn't ignore what was right in front of me. It started like any other day. I was at home, working on a few things, when I noticed a message on Ethan's phone. He had left it on the kitchen counter while he took a quick shower. I didn't mean to look. Really, I didn't. But the curiosity gnawed at me, and something inside me told me I needed to know. I never thought it would be the key to unraveling everything. The message wasn't from a friend. It wasn't from anyone I knew. It was from a woman, someone I had never heard of before. The words she had written were so intimate, so personal, that they made my stomach churn. I miss you so much. Can't wait to see you again tonight. I love you, Ethan, it said. My heart dropped to the floor. My mind raced. I felt like the world was spinning around me, but everything had suddenly become so clear. It was the moment I realized that the man I loved, the man I had trusted with every part of me, had been lying to me. He had been seeing someone else. He had been cheating on me. I felt like I couldn't breathe. The room felt suffocating, and I had to steady myself to keep from collapsing. My hands shook as I put the phone down and walked away from the kitchen. I needed to think. I needed to figure out what to do next. At that moment, a flood of emotions overtook me, anger, disbelief, sadness. How could he do this to me? We had been so close, so in love. I had trusted him more than I had ever trusted anyone. And this is how he repaid me? I waited for him to come back. I wasn't sure how I was going to handle it. What do you say when you find out the person you love has betrayed you in the worst possible way? When Ethan returned, I tried to keep calm. I didn't want to lose control, not yet. I wanted answers, but I needed to stay composed. When I confronted him, I could see the guilt in his eyes. He knew I knew. He didn't even try to deny it. He sat there, silent, his eyes avoiding mine. The truth was now out in the open, and there was no going back. He confessed. The woman in the messages was someone he had met a few months ago. He told me that he had fallen for her, and that things between us had started to feel distant. But he didn't want to hurt me. He didn't want to end things with me, so he kept it a secret. He had been living in two worlds, pretending to love me while his heart was somewhere else. I wanted to scream. I wanted to break something. How could he do this? How could he be so selfish? But instead, I sat there in silence. I felt hollow inside. The man I had once shared everything with, the man who had promised me the world, had broken me in a way I didn't know was possible. I asked him to leave. I couldn't look at him anymore. I didn't want to hear any more excuses. He tried to apologize, to explain, but nothing he said mattered. I needed him gone. I needed space to breathe. The next few days were a blur. I cried. A lot. I couldn't understand how everything I had believed in had come crashing down. The life we had planned together, the future we had talked about, seemed like a distant dream. I questioned everything. Was any of it real? Was his love for me ever real? Or had I just been blind to the truth all along? But as the days passed, something inside me began to change. I realized that I couldn't let this define me. Yes, I was hurt. Yes, I was angry. But I wasn't going to let it break me. I wasn't going to let Ethan's betrayal control my life. I started to focus on myself again. I spent time with my family and friends, the people who had always been there for me. I reminded myself that I was strong, that I had been through difficult times before and had come out stronger on the other side. I started to rediscover the things that made me happy: writing, painting, taking long walks in the park. Slowly, I began to heal. I didn't need Ethan's love to define my worth. I didn't need him to be happy. I had my own dreams, my own life to live, and no one could take that away from me. But even though I was healing, there were still moments when the pain would come back. There were nights when I would lie in bed, staring at the ceiling, wondering if I would ever feel truly whole again. I missed the old version of myself, the one who had been so full of hope and joy. I missed believing in love. But then I realized something important. I didn't need to go back to who I was before. I was becoming a new version of myself, stronger, wiser, and more in tune with who I really was. I was learning to love myself again, and that was the most important thing I could do. As time went on, I began to look at relationships differently. I understood now that love isn't always perfect. People make mistakes. But that doesn't mean you should stay in a relationship that hurts you. I also learned that trust, once broken, is incredibly hard to rebuild. And that's okay. You don't have to forgive someone just because they apologize. You have the right to protect your heart. My journey wasn't easy, but with each day, I grew stronger. I found my way back to happiness, not because of anyone else, but because I learned to find it within myself. And here's the message I want to share with you all. Never let anyone's actions define your worth. You are strong, you are capable, and you deserve the kind of love that lifts you up, not the kind that breaks you down. Don't be afraid to walk away from something that doesn't serve you. Your happiness is in your hands, and you have the power to create the life you deserve. If you're going through something similar, I want you to know that it's okay to feel hurt. It's okay to cry. But never forget that you are worthy of love, respect, and kindness. Take it one day at a time, and eventually, you will see the light at the end of the tunnel. Life moves on, and so do we.